So I'm just going to do a video on the 12 volt system that's in the Pajero. So I want to start this video by saying that you know, take advice from experts when it comes to 12 volt. This is not instructional. This is informational. This video. This is what I've done in my Pajero. I've done due diligence and I've done my research, and I think I've got it right. But I'm by no means an expert. So please, you know, we don't want any accidents. We don't want your car burning down. So take advice from the experts. As I said, this is just an informational. This is how I've got the 12 volt in this car. I'm not going to give you any, I guess, detail into the, wires I'm using, fuses, things like that. So take out of it what you will. Again, okay, so do some due diligence on this. All right, with that out the way. So what I'm running is the dual system, and I'm running the Life PO4, so the lithium. I have a lithium battery sitting underneath here. I have built this little box that goes in the corner, and on that I have a Mobi DC charger, 30 amp charger I got off eBay. Cost me 170 I think on eBay. You can buy the 40 amp charger now for the same price, I think. That's what I bought this. What I paid for this. And I previously owned this MPPT charger from, I had this before the DC. I did have a AGM set up in here, so I was using that as the solar charger. That's pretty good. I think it cost me a couple hundred. It's only 20 amp. You can buy 40 amp. But this works for me. And I run the two together. Whilst this DC does have a solar input, I choose to run them separately because I get the Bluetooth connectivity with the kick-ass model, which gives me some information on what's happening with the battery, as far as solar and charging, input, output, whatever. It's not really detailed again, but it's okay. I have another Bluetooth module that I bought off eBay just for lithium. If you want to, if you want to have any sort of decent data on what your battery's doing, accurate percentages and usage, input, output, etc., you need to get a shunt. These things are just, they pretty much give you you get a voltage, so this thing's a 14.4. Mind you, I've just come from a drive, so it's fully charged. Plus it's probably got solar pumping into it as well. With the lithium, do some research on it, but you'll find that you can't overcharge these. They'll shut themselves off, and so you're pretty good with that. I do have two lithium batteries. I'll get into the batteries in a minute, but what I'll do now is I'll take this top cover off and I'll show you what I've got underneath there. So basically what I've got is, you see, I've got the battery down there in the cavity. Okay, I've got the cable coming through from the cable coming through is going directly into the DC up in through here, up into there, then running back out into the battery, and then also over into the solar MPPT. I just run some. I will say one thing though. I run plenty of fuses. I run a fuse at either end of the batteries. So I run a fuse up this end and a fuse down under the bonnet for the dual battery. I run fuses all in here, larger fuses and smaller fuses. I run two poles in there, so two terminals. Everything comes off these terminals. I haven't got them running, so I've only basically just got a couple of things coming off the battery. That's the Bluetooth module there. That's the Bluetooth module there. That's for the lithium one. I got that off the internet, cost me $30. Yeah, so this is all just held into place. I've just got a block of wood here that's screwed in from the inside, just to hold it in there. There's plenty of room in there. to put this battery. I had a larger AGM in there, and so I had to cut the plastic. You'll see that I've cut the plastic down there. This one I didn't have to. It's actually a little bit smaller. That's the good thing about the lithium. And there's also, if you're installing an AGM, there's actually a metal, it's like a bracket that runs over the top. It's down in here. It runs over the top of the wheel arch, and I think it's what you bolt the dicky seats onto. And it actually has 2 bolts down the bottom down here, bolting into the floor, and 2 bolts over the top that's bolting into the top of the wheel arch. You take that out, and that gives you plenty of room for an AGM. So that comes out, okay. So, but you have to get up underneath your plastic guard covering thing. So you have to take that out, and you'll be right. So yeah, so that all runs in through there. These curves here, you'll see this is curved here, around here, and around here. So they just sit up underneath here and down in there. This part here, you can see that there screws into here, and then I have another bracket that I've made, pine, coming out, that comes off from here, which the other end screws onto. So there's 2 screws holding that in, so I can access it at any time. And I really just have a couple of connections coming through there. I do have a connection running from that battery over the back and around the back over here to another plug that I have here, and that's basically runs the fridge. So it runs the fridge, like it's a 35 litre fridge. It runs at full time, 24/7, on about 8 to 10 degrees. Yeah, so that's pretty much how that goes. There's plenty of room in there. There's actually a bit more detail on this little area here in the video, with it's got the with the drawer build. So check that out for some additional information. I think there might be some other bits and pieces in there with more detail. But all of these sockets and everything else that come out of there, they're all I just gutted one of those XTM battery boxes. Yeah, just got an XTM battery box. So I got the use of the Anderson plugs, this little switch here that just switches all of these off. Just wired it all in at the back there. Just if you're going to do that, I didn't have to rewire anything really. Just use the same wiring that came out of the battery box. Essentially, that's all I'm doing. All I did was just transfer it from the battery box into this here. All the fuses and everything else all sitting in there. So I've really done nothing here outside of, as I say, just gutting a battery box and just inserting it into here. So there's, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, so that's all how that sits in there. This cavity here, I do have 2 batteries, and this cavity here, if you stand them up on their end, which you can do because they're lithium, I can put 2 side by side, and they actually fit. They actually only just come up to about here on the top here, so I can get the 2 batteries in there, and I can parallel that. So positive to positive, negative to negative. You can't make these into 24 volt. You can just parallel 12 volt, and it'll give me 230 amp hours if I want to. So I do have the option of doing that, and I may do that one day, but just for the minute I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, so that's that part. Now I'll show you the solar panel. We do have a solar panel that I have up on the roof, which I'll just pull that across, and I'll get up there and show you. So there's the solar panel up there. That's just a flexible solar panel I bought off eBay. I don't know, 240 watt or something like that, on an aluminium frame. I just flexed it onto that, and used some zip ties to tie it to the frame there. It's not going anywhere. Plenty of zip ties. Then I run the cable down, and I run the cable along there, and I run it up underneath there. I think you can see up underneath there, there's a plug, and it runs down. It just runs down the back from up underneath there, runs down just through the door on the seal. I don't get any leaks through there. You have to excuse the noise today. There's a whole heap of traffic around here today. So if the video jumping a bit, it's because I'm pausing it for all the noise. But anyway, yeah. So that's where that all sits in, and that's nice. I just run the cable. I just bought the cable. I bought just a dual battery setup from Kick-Ass. So whatever gauge cable they use, and there's a I think it's a VSR they call them. I've got a VSR, that's still in there, but we'll get to that in a minute. And that's all the back part of it. And as the cable just runs across the back wheel arch and up along the footwells, you know, inside there where the you screwed those plastic pieces off. So I'll show you. So yeah, so it just comes down through here, and just down through there, and you screw these pieces off. And if you have a look under there, you'll see that I've got the cable. It slots down through the side there like that, through the front one and out through the firewall, and then into the so yeah, in the engine bay, I've just got the cables running from the battery, and I've lined them with conduit, and they run into this isolator here. Then from the isolator, as I say, I've got a fuse down there, and I run over to this VSR over here. Now I probably don't need that. I know that DC-DCs usually do that job for us, but oh look, I've just left it in there. You know, might as well, can't hurt. And with the isolator, now the isolator, the way this works is it's a three-way isolator, and I got this from J-Car. I keep getting confused. So when it's at that position, there, it cuts the front and rear batteries, so there's no power going between the two. When I have it at 90 degrees, so what I have now is I have power between the front and rear battery, and then when I go down 180 degrees, I have power between the front and rear battery and the winch. So now the winch is on and the front and rear battery, so cut the winch off and cut power to everything. Okay, so that cost me 50 bucks from J-Car, which is a good investment. And so I just turn it around to 90 degrees, and now I have connection between the two batteries. As I say, I've just left that on. I could probably just undo those two and just plug them together, but I don't know. Someone tell me any reason why I shouldn't have it on, and I'll take it off, otherwise it's staying on. So that's it under there. Bit of a bird's nest, but I know where everything goes. That's all that matters. Okay, so, and that lead there just runs through the firewall, down again, as I say, along the footwells in the sides there, the side kick panel, and so forth, right up to the back there. Right, so as far as the batteries goes, this is what I've got. This is a Flow Tools lithium battery. There's the specs on it. Now this is a really low end battery, right? So this was cheap, okay? So I'm one of those price point purchasers. So I buy cheap. I don't buy dear. You know, I know what everyone says about buying the cheap stuff. You buy it 2-3 times over, whatever. I don't care. Alright, I've had these batteries for 8 months. I bought 2 of them. They cost me 300 bucks each, or 350 bucks each. I've not had an issue with them. Okay, so the one in the car runs 24/7. It's always constantly charging and discharging. Always charges up fine. It's never overheated. I've never had any issues. This one here sits in a battery box, and it runs just off a well, I have a charger. I have a kick-ass 22 amp smart charger for lithium, so every now and then it gets a pump up with that. But generally speaking, when I'm away camping, it just runs off a portable solar panel, and if I don't have one, then I might be in a bit of a poo, but I've always got that option, as I said, to connect the two together. But look, they last a fair while. Yeah, so as I said, these are on the cheaper end of the scale. That's where I buy. You know, it goes for kings and everything. I don't care what anyone says. Like, you know, my money, I'll buy what I want. So, and this has worked for me. So I've got the two. So I've got the option of paralleling the two together. So because you'll notice this here has a maximum continuous discharge current of only 50 amps. So not good for high-end, maybe 12-volt users. You wouldn't buy this certainly if you were, you know. But if you wouldn't buy this if you were looking to go away and live off grid or something like that, maybe. But if it's just a weekend warrior like me, camper, maybe a week at the most, You know, and the only thing is I just run a 1500 watt inverter. It runs a CPAP machine. I don't go in for this, you know, induction cooking and all that sort of stuff. I go away camping, you know, which is you know, campfire and sort of gas sort of stuff. That's what I think camping is. But anyway, that's my opinion. So it runs a CPAP machine over night time. It runs LED lighting. It runs all the chargers. It runs these power tools. It runs that charger, and it runs a multitude of things. You know, look again. If you're gonna go away and go off grid and stay off grid for a long time, maybe this is not for you. And maybe, you know what, I might not even buy it myself, because you got to parallel two of them to get 100 watt out of it, and then you get your 230 amp hour. But as I say, they're working fine for me. So yeah, I mean, that's my 12 volt setup. I haven't had no issues. This particular one here, I found, if anyone is interested in buying this to maybe get into the swap from, say, AGM to lithium, and I found this, it was an ad on Facebook. It's from a company called Rolling Cart. Okay, they're pretty good. I bought the first one for $350. I think I got the second one discounted to $300. Free post. The post was on time. Come by toll, and it was quick delivery, express delivery. You know, who knows what's inside them? They're probably iPhone batteries. I don't know, but it works. Okay, so, and for how long, I don't know either, but I've been running these batteries now for 8 months, and this one gets a workout in the shed, because I use a lot of LED lighting in here, you know, because I've got issues with that car at the moment. So I've been under the bonnet a bit. It's not a Holden thing, no, it's something else. Oh, it's a Holden thing. So anyway, and then the one in the car gets used every day, because now that's sort of in the last month it's become my daily driver, because yeah, because that thing don't work. But yeah, so in conclusion, look, just a couple of points. When it comes to 12 volt, if you want advice, get expert advice from a qualified, you know, electrician, someone who knows their stuff when it comes to, you know, watts, amps and volts and stuff like that, so you don't burn yourself to the ground. You know, fuse positions, all those sorts of things. It's exactly what I did. I took a little bit of information from the forums, because half the time, you know, that's just someone's opinion. It pays to always, you know, go speak to an expert. These batteries have worked fine for me. Would I recommend them? Well, I'd recommend them for someone like me who purchases purely on price. Maybe, you know, 75% price, 25% product, and it might sound a bit silly, but you know what? I've never really had any issues, and that goes for King's stuff as well. So, you know, I do pay a premium price for stuff occasionally too. Like I paid, I think, a couple $100 for this. You know, because they've got a good rep. This was cheap off eBay, only cost me, I don't know, $130, but it works. It's never failed me. You know, that Moby DC cost me, I think, 140. That's fine, it works. And the kick-ass MPPT, well, that's, I think people think they're quality too. That's never failed me. Now, will it fail me going forward? Maybe, but who knows. But I've had plenty of good stuff I've bought that's failed too, like this. Yeah, so horses for courses. Anyway, that'll do. So yeah, so I hope this is helpful. Really was just pointing out how I've got it set up in the back. Batteries only fit on one side, and that's the driver's side. The other side's not big enough. Yeah, so the passenger side cavity there is not big enough to get a battery in. You might get a small, you know, I don't know, 50 amp hour or something like that, but you certainly won't get one of these size. You know, these only weigh about 18 kilos. So it's two of these on the driver's side is essentially, you know, the same weight as an AGM battery anyway, but you're getting, you know, you're getting all that 230 odd amp hour, and you're getting the, you know, I think these get about 2,000 cycles in them, so we'll see how they go. I'll maybe let you know in 12 months time. Okay, that's all for now. Hope it was helpful. Thumbs up if it was helpful to you. It's good to know that if, you know, that some of my videos are of some use to people. Subscribe. I will be doing a whole heap of, now it's getting into good weather, I'm going to do some camping stuff. Get the Pajero out and about a bit more. It's a bit of a pavement princess at the moment, because of the cold weather here in Melbourne. Yeah, subscribe and like. And look, as I said, I don't get paid for this. I'm not interested in the money. I just like to put it, it's a hobby. I'm enjoying it. I like to get it out there, and I enjoy the comments that I get back. So far so good. I've got no flogs or trolls, which is good, because all I'm trying to do is just, I guess, promote the Pajero, and just share some ideas, and that's all it is. Just some tips and tricks, and just hope it's helpful for like-minded Pajero drivers. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.